Mandla. Program Director, I have prepared 4 speeches. The first 2 was to bracket Pijan depending on what he said and to speak in response. The third one was in case the program is changed and the president speaks first, how are we to respond? And the third one, of course, the fourth one was the original speech. I'm not sure which one I'm reading now, but just bear that in mind in case I read the wrong one. Program Director, Minister Oliphant, I must declare to this House that you are my mother-in-law. And I understand exactly the discipline, what it means. Because I've stood in platform with you and said something in opposition to what you said on my mandate, and I've been warned at home that a stubborn fly follows the corpse to the grave, and I understand what it means. So, Program Director, President Ramaphosa, Minister in President and all other ministers present, leaders of organized business, leaders and representatives of the community constituencies in Netlek, leaders of organized labor. I've seen the director of the ILO in Pretoria office and the chairperson of the CCMA, distinguished guests, colleagues and comrades. Firstly, I want to, on behalf of Labour, to join you, Minister, in sharing your loss on Comrade Edna Molewa, a former trade unionist, a shop steward, a deputy president of one of our unions in Sakau, where you are coming from. Indeed, we share the same sentiments like you. Coming back to what we are advised to say, on the occasion like this, compel us to shift aside what make us to differ and focus more on what make us to be one nation, one country, and put the interest of the most vulnerable above everything else. In our view, today's gathering symbolizes a commitment to discuss the future of our country in the very literal sense. In 2017, organized labor submitted a Section 77 notice in Netlek, prompted by the massive job losses and increasing unemployment. The outcome of that engagement was a call for a job summit. Few months later, the President have listened to the calls that have been made, promised to convene this presidential job summit. And we understand it, Minister, it is not a Netlek summit. It's a presidential summit under the auspices of Netlek. Legally speaking, it is a Netlek summit. Question that has been asked is whether this will do justice. Many people and opinion makers have already predicted that this will be another talk shop and that there will be nothing tangible coming out of this engagement. In our view, this may be only possible if our coming together is just to share platitudes and do not have a real commitment to turn around this economy and fix the enormous problem of unemployment. Our response is that this is not an event but a process, needing courage and people who are committed to walk the talk, that the route we're taking moving forward is going to be difficult and complex, but it is a journey that all of us have no choice but to walk. Network constituencies thought deeply on how the processes of engagement should evolve leading to the summit. We agreed that for it to succeed, it should be handled differently from other summits, but should lean towards to the processes that we followed when we responded to the global crisis in 2009. Ibrahim Patel was here, Minister Patel was here, Trevor Manuel and Rob Davids and others were there. This is what we thought we should be following, that we are not debating today these issues, we're expecting to receive the outcome of the engagement. In that context, I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who participated in the work that will be presented by the President today for our consideration. We know that the process has been not easy. It has not been smooth sailing. People have been hurt. It has been rough, but I think they should take comfort that today they are able to present an outcome. There have been times during this process that organized labor almost pulled out, but we remember that social dialogue is not easy. In trade union engagement, by its nature and character, social dialogue is a difficult process but necessary. Hence, it surprises us when some among us are shouting proudly to boycott social engagement. President Ramaphosa, in your State of the Nation address, which organized labor had no contributing in writing, you said, and I quote, "The summit needs to take extraordinary measures to create jobs on a scale we have never before seen in our country." Indeed, we share the sentiment. But let us be reminded, what is the problem we're trying to address? It is an economy that is not growing at the pace required to address the needs of our people. And in that, it is shedding jobs on a massive scale. At the same time, our economy is producing millionaires. There's about 25.9 million economically active people. Out of this, only 16.2 million are employed, of whom 50% earn less than 5,000 rands a month. We call them, these 50%, the working poor. Over 9 million are unemployed, whose majority is the young people, some of whom have no hope or prospect of working in their entire life. And the implications of this are devastating. Unemployment is primary cause to poverty and inequality, contributing immensely to the social dysfunctional and political instability. Unemployment is an assault to the social fabric of our communities and human dignity. It drives and exposes the young people to gangsterism, to crime, to violence, and we call this a crisis. We're mentioning all this not because no one knows about them, but want to drive the point that we have a crisis in our hand. We all know there's these challenges. We have talked about them. We have debated them for a very long time, and we have differed on how best to address them. This gathering is not about debating them. It was planned in a manner to avoid paralysis by analysis. Hence, the purpose of coming together is to develop and adopt solutions that are clear and measurable. If we cannot measure them, we will probably not adopt them. Your guidance, President, was that this process is not a process for lamentation, but a forum to provide concrete suggestions. For us as Labour, is that in order to find a solution to any problem, the cardinal prerequisite is to first comprehend what the problem is, the nature and the extent and the implication of not addressing the problems. It gives us pleasure, therefore, President, that at last the Network constituency fully comprehend the unemployment crisis. It goes on to say this problem is not insurmountable. It can be addressed and it must be addressed. We have to attend to. We're encouraged that all constituencies appreciate that the time is not on our side. This, in our view, is very important. Secondly, the understanding that addressing economy and unemployment or underemployment challenges is not a once-off or an event, but it's a process that needs leadership, time frames, discipline, assessment, and evaluation along the way. Thirdly, that it is important to have capacity, coordination, and reprioritization and agency as a prerequisite for this project to succeed. Fourthly, that whatever the agreement is reached, it must be implementable and the resources must be made available both in terms of finance as well as a human resource. Fifthly, the common understanding, the negative and the damaging impact of corruption, that corruption anywhere poses danger to the society everywhere, and therefore the signing of the pledge is very important to us. The report that our negotiators give us, or the negotiators give us comfort that policy discussed, or policy will be discussed in the next phase of engagement, and we hope that everybody and everyone will be able to participate equally. It might be important, Comrade President, just to remind all of us as we move forward that we came to this summit with a number of demands. We wanted the summit to engage on the problem that we are facing in the manner that the constituencies appreciate the problem faced by the workers and the unemployed and to provide solution. That we wanted a moratorium on retrenchment across all sectors of the economy and the filling of critical vacancies in the public services. We wanted a bold, decisive intervention in the sectors which are shedding jobs. We wanted to urgently discuss and reshape the training layoff schemes. We wanted a regular space under the presidency for social partners to engage on solving the unemployment crisis. For us, we demanded that the microeconomic and the labor chapters of the NDP must be addressed. We wanted also a systematic intervention to address the inclusive growth and distribution. We wanted the end of the investment strike, but at the same time, we wanted labor to discuss how to utilize the worker capital in the manner that creates jobs. We wanted a just transition not only on the climate change, but also on the fourth industrial revolution. As we conclude, Mama Zala, before I'm reminded of the stubborn fly, we noted, President, that the people that we have invited, we have not seen the faith-based organization, not because I'm coming from the church and I'm speaking on their behalf. We have not seen the traditional leaders, not because Unkosi Holomisa is here. But we understand your fear that when you invite people to attend, they refused. When you don't invite them, they threaten to come in any way. But we encourage you to continue inviting them so that they don't attend. Thank you very much.